In this tutorial, we'll explore a few of the basic capabilities of Articulate Storyline 2 to create a simple, interactive game. Storyline 2 is part of the Articulate software suite, a dynamic software platform for creating interactive curriculums such as quizzes, videos, e-courses, and in this case, an interactive game. At first glance, Storyline 2 looks similar to PowerPoint. Using some of the features similar to the Microsoft Office suite, the user interface of the software is easy and familiar to use, such as the slide bar over here, as well as some of the tools such as text tools, inserting features, transitions, animations, and design. However, there are some key differences that make Storyline much more robust than PowerPoint, such as the timeline and states. The inclusion of tools such as timeline and states, such as you see in animation programs like Flash, and Trigger Wizard for interactive content, allows creators to design robust games simply such as the one on my screen. My game, Cooking with Words, was designed for kindergarten-age children who are learning to read. The child helps Lucy, my character here, find utensils by matching the word to the right object, as found here. Based on the child's interaction with the game environment, both the words and Lucy's expressions change. So let's review how to work with these states and triggers to build this interactive game. Cooking with Words was created using the basic features of Storyline 2, triggers, and states, as well as some animation elements. The game interface was compiled using JPEGs and PNGs and assigning triggers to those elements. To begin creating your gaming interface, start with a new project, as you'll find here, selecting New and selecting New Project. The new project will begin with a blank slide. From there, you can add a background or theme or keep it blank to design your own theme. By going to the Insert, Picture, you can insert different images into your slides. As you'll see throughout my slides, I have done that, such as this PNG here, which I have inserted into my slide to be my title. Additionally, my slide includes an interactive element known as a character, which we'll call Lucy, who interacts with the gamer and the different elements on the slide through assigned triggers. To put a character into your own game, go to Insert, select Character. I've chosen an illustrated character, though you can choose a photographic character. Select an illustrated character, choose from a character from the library, and hit Insert. Once you have your slide designed, such as the one I've created here, we can begin to create the interactivity for making our game come to life. Let's first start with what's known as states, as seen here. On my slide here, you will see there are three words: mitt, teapot, and pan. These three words interact with my game based on if the word has been placed on the correct placement through the kitchen, such as a mitt, the teapot, or the pan. Depending on whether or not the interaction is correct or incorrect will determine what this state turns into. To see what I'm talking about, I'll select the object such as mitt, and you'll see below here that mitt has four different states. It has normal, what happens when the user drags, what happens when it's dropped on the correct element, and what happens when it's dropped on the incorrect element. So states are what happens to the object when a different situation is imposed, such as dragging, clicking, dropping, or if it's the incorrect or correct placement. In this instance, we want our words to be interactive and able to be dragged and dropped onto the objects in the kitchen. In order to create visual feedback, we can create these different states. In order to create a new state other than the four ones that I have created here, I would go to Edit States, select New State, and from there I could use the drop-down menu to determine what exactly action I want to have happen. So I can add, such as hover. This is what would happen if I hovered over the word. And then from there, I can decide with the formatting tools if I want that to change to a different color when the user hovers over that word. So we can choose Done Editing States once I've selected, and now when the user hovers over this word, which you would be able to see in the preview, it would turn to purple. Once you've completed this, select Done, and repeat this for every object you'd like to transform for your game based on the user's interaction. Another important tool within Storyline is the Trigger tool. Trigger allows you to give an object the ability to interact with other objects within the slides and establish an action or a reaction based on the trigger selected. For my game, I have assigned several triggers, as you can see on the right side menu labeled Slide Triggers. For instance, in order for my words to know what the incorrect or correct placement is, I've assigned triggers to interact with those words. To assign a trigger to an object, select Add New Trigger from the toolbar, making sure that your object is selected first. Here is the trigger wizard, the different actions with what slide, when, and the object that you are assigning this trigger to. So here I would want to change state of. My object here is, and as you can see it's selecting down here, *1, to drag over. That would be the state down here. When the user drags over the object *1, and then I can choose when that would change the color based off of the picture that I chose. So I don't want to do that because I've already assigned the different triggers to this word, but that gives you an idea of how these interact. Additionally, I use the trigger wizard. I have assigned a trigger to my character Lucy to give feedback based on if the child is correct or incorrect in the placement of these words. To do that, you can select the object that you want to change that interacts with Lucy based on the placement of that object. So here I would select the object again. In this case it would be Mitt. Go up to New, Insert New Trigger, and then the action would be change state of, and then we're going to change the state of not of this object here, but of the object of my character 1, which is Lucy. And then that state we could choose if she was going to be alarmed, angry, asking, or confused, so on and so forth, based off of the interaction of the child. So for here I could do happy, and then whenever the user, or our little learner, drops the object on the correct one, which we could assign here, such as you see the pan highlighting here, but in this case it would be the Mitt, so that would be picture 2. Then we could select OK. Now whenever the user, our little learner here, drags over the word Mitt onto the Mitt, Lucy is going to change from a normal state to a happy state. And then the same is true if you were to drag Mitt onto the pan or the teapot. Her face might turn to worried, surprised, or angry, depending on where that placement is. Using interactive elements such as these allow for educators and designers alike to create interactive content with ease. So I implore you to play around with Storyline 2 for your curriculum development. So let's take a look at how these elements come to life inside the game. To see these elements come to life, such as the triggers and the states that we've assigned, we can go up to the Preview option, select Preview, and now we'll be able to see the game in full. Cooking with words. Drag the words to the right object in the kitchen. So as we talked about before, now when we hover over the word Mitt, it changes to purple. When we pick that object up and we put it over the pan, as you can see, Lucy's surprised face has now turned on the character. And in addition, when we drag it to the correct placement, Lucy turns back to happy. And again, we do this angry, happy, and again pan turns to green and Lucy's happy. Great job! So that's the conclusion of my tutorial. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.